Hello, I'm Vara,
Hi, Vara. I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to
The VCR Show.
VCR. Yes, you are. VCR. You are VCR. Just to let you all know out there. Today we have so me and Roxy watched this. She saw it before I did, and then she reviewed it again. Um, and it was my first time watching it, and I have to admit, I really liked it. I was kind of on the fence because I'm like a purist about the storyline, and I have to admit, it was great. So we are talking about today because it's been in theaters last year, and now it is on Netflix. So if it's something you want to check out and watch over the weekend, highly recommend. Godzilla Minus One was superb. I know some of you
Yeah.
may have seen it already and are like, yeah, okay. But for those of you who haven't, who you're like me, or maybe you just didn't see it in theater because you didn't feel like going to the theater. You know, it was a great movie, and Roxy turned me on to it. So,
hmm
Roxy, how did you feel about Godzilla Minus One or Plus Two?
I thought it was great. I really enjoyed that movie.
Mhm.
I was like, wow, like this is a Godzilla movie I can get on board with. Most of them, I'm like, I mean, they're entertaining, but I realized like, it's Godzilla.
Yeah, and for
But this
me,
one, I was like, oh my God, this one had me on the edge.
yes, like I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved Godzilla. Of course, I've been a Godzilla fan since I was a little kid. Like on
hmm
Sunday mornings after Kung Fu Theater on Sundays, they would show the monster movies, and then they would do Gods. It was always Godzilla after Kung Fu
hmm
Theater, and so after you got your fill of bad Bruce Lee movies, then you could have your fill of bad, rubber suit Godzilla movies.
Right.
And I loved
And
it.
you love it,
It
right?
was like Godzilla versus Mothra, Godzilla versus Rodan,
hmm
just like Godzilla versus all these weird things. But here's the thing with the Godzilla plots and this is the only thing that kind of got me with the Godzilla Minus One. Most Godzilla movies, there's a purpose as to why he has had to come on shore
hmm
and just fuck things up, you know? I mean, first off, he's huge. No matter where he
Yeah.
steps, he's just
He's gonna
bringing
mess it up, right?
devastation. It's like us stepping on ants or roaches. It's going to just be a devastating moment for them.
Right.
But normally it was always with some type of purpose of protection or to save mankind, even though they didn't know they're saving mankind type of thing. So there was that. This one, Godzilla Minus One, is kind of the very few Godzillas I've ever seen where Godzilla is just like, hey, I'm just here and I'm just gonna fucking wreck your day. You know? Like, I'm just, I'm having a bad day, so now all of you are having a bad day.
So we're
So,
all having one
yes,
now.
I'm going to just ruin your fucking lives. And so, uh, the thing with Godzilla is, like I said, in the older, when we see Godzilla come on the scene in the 1950s on up, there's normally some type of weird purpose or purpose that doesn't make sense with the plot. In this case, he's just there and he's like, yep,
Yeah.
just me.
Like they just woke him up or something.
I'm
Like,
just doing Godzilla things. That's all.
yeah, it's coming around here,
Yeah, I
fucking
mean,
shit.
and I love that they kept a lot of the original features of Godzilla, even like the eyes and the shape of the head
Yes.
is more of a tribute to the original Godzillas than they've tried to do with like the more recent ones. Um, I'm gonna be honest. So after the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, I kind of gave up on the whole Godzilla storyline. So like after that, I have not seen the ones that star oh my goodness, I feel bad for not knowing his name in real life. But like the guy who was from Breaking Bad and the dad on Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh,
Uh,
yes, 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 yes,
yeah,
yes. I know what you're
his
talking
his
about.
Godzilla stories.
Can't think of his
Uh,
name either.
yeah, it's like his Godzilla stories have been. I can't even say that I liked it because like
Branson?
huh?
Something Branson. right?
Bryan Cranston, that's it.
Cranston, that's
So
right.
that's it. Bryan Cranston. Sorry about that if you actually listen to the show, which I doubt you do. But in the event you do, sorry. But his Godzilla, the first one, was a bore for me, an absolute bore. I did try to watch it and I couldn't do it because it's all about him being a whiny little baby because his wife died in some testing experiment. And I was like, that's all we're focusing on. And just every now and then you get glimpses of Godzilla destroying the city. I'm like, it's Godzilla, not, you
Right.
know, be a little bitch moment. It's Godzilla. There is no time to be a little bitch in Godzilla. Even the little bitch in the Godzilla Minus One manned up at some point. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
saw a lot of Godzilla. In the Bryan Cranston one, it's like, when do we get to see Godzilla? You know, like I was so bored with that. It just made me mad. So I kind of gave up on it after that. Um, so when Roxy said Godzilla Minus One, you got to watch it, and I saw it, I was like, bravo,
At
bravo.
first you were like, I don't
I'm like, no,
know.
can't we do a documentary or something like that? And then she tells me about the terracotta warriors. I was like, okay, maybe
So
we can do
Godzilla is.
Godzilla.
Okay.
Godzilla doesn't sound so bad now, other than the mystery of the terracotta warriors. It's like, let's go with Godzilla. And so I loved it because it really is, that whole movie is just an homage to original Godzilla. Like I said, the way they design Godzilla looks like the original Godzilla, unlike the iguana Godzilla and the Matthew Broderick one. And
Hmm.
then you have the acting, the stiff wooden, like, oh my god, Godzilla, that you
Yeah.
had back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. They reverted back to that, like the acting, the lines that were being delivered was all just a tribute to original Godzilla movies, but beautifully filmed in modern, cinematography. I was so geeking out. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest Godzilla ever. I absolutely loved it. And the guys who, put it together, bravo, clap, clap, clap. That was just
It was
so
really
good.
good.
Now, am I going to say Godzilla showing up without purpose was a little for me? It was, but that's okay because Godzilla is the ultimate. And I texted this to Roxy last night. I don't know if she saw it. I was like, Godzilla really is the ultimate fuck around and find out monster. Isn't he?
No, yeah, for real. He really is,
It's like
especially in this one.
oh my God, yeah, and they were really
He
fucking.
just would not.
I mean, fuck it.
Relentless.
Yeah, like they were trying they science and engineering. These guys in brought in Toyota. Did you notice that Toyota
Yeah.
shows up to try to fucking engineer something to save everybody? I was like, damn, it's bad if Toyota's showing up.
Right.
It's like, fuck. Uh, like their science that they use, like, oh, decompression. I was like, ooh, that actually does make sense.
Right. I'm like, that sounds like it would
I was
work.
like, someone actually thought this out instead of just like, oh, we'll use alien rays to destroy Godzilla.
Right.
This was like, oh wow, they're using science, but that's something we didn't think.
They're using science and
I
math
was
here.
like,
Hold on.
we didn't have science in the 50s and 60s, clearly.
Right.
But the science that they're using now made sense. And the fact that it failed, because I mean, really, it shouldn't have failed. In real life, that thing wouldn't have failed. But it's Godzilla. That shit just failed. And
Right.
Godzilla was just wrecking all their plans. It was so great. And then the fact that they give you the impression, if okay, so if you haven't seen it and you don't want spoilers, I'd suggest you just skip ahead because I'm gonna spoil some shit right now.
As we do.
Yes, in the end, when they give you the idea, oh, Godzilla's dead, yay! He is not, because Godzilla doesn't fucking die ever.
Obviously, never.
Like,
He's been around forever.
clearly.
I really liked how they made him like a lizard, like they
Mm-hmm,
made him regenerate.
mm-hmm.
That was really cool.
He was
I
just
thought that
like
was
Even when they did the close range missile was being shot into his chest,
Yeah.
and he falls back and he gets back up and he just like you see him like regenerating. And then what I loved after that is the like I am going to wreck you with his what they call his heat wave that comes out of his
His
mouth. I
heat,
was like,
yes.
and he just like charges up with the spikes coming out of his back. And
Yeah.
but what I really liked about that is like how they made it seem more like a nuclear bomb going off when he breathes, like his heat ray, like it's
Oh,
like a
yes.
bomb going off. But what I really liked is like the bomb goes off, goes outwards, but then it retracts back in. I don't know if you noticed that in the scene where they're destroying Tokyo. It goes out and
Mm-hmm.
then everything comes back in. And I was like, holy
Mm-hmm.
shit. I was like, that's a new one. I was like,
Right?
wow, God, you've upgraded here, Godzilla.
He definitely did.
I mean, Homeboy was not playing around and he was just destroying everything. I really loved Godzilla Minus One. Let's get into some of the themes of Godzilla Minus One. Some of you may be wondering, why is it called Minus One? He's not fighting anything else. There's not like a second Godzilla. And that's a good
Mm-mm.
question. Um, and I had to look it up because I was like, why is it minus one? There's no other monster here.
Right.
So what's going on? And the reason for that is so this Godzilla is taking place in 1945, right after World War II. Japan has lost. If you know anything about history, Japan has lost. They got their asses handed to them. We dropped the bomb, all that other good stuff, right? So there was that. Now, here's the thing: Japan is in a state of devastation, poverty everywhere. They're living in basically garbage shacks, like what you would see in like these extreme poverty movies. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the citizens are living in. And what ends up happening is because they are in such dire straits, it's like if you think of it as a match, Godzilla versus Tokyo, well, or Japan, it's basically Godzilla versus zero. And because they have so little, it's minus one. So it's minus, if you're looking at a number scale, you start at zero, one, two, three, four. But if you're going down, it's zero, minus one, negative two, negative three. So it's showing that you're going lower. So it's Godzilla minus one because Tokyo was at a total loss. They were at zero, minus one. So that's a very long explanation as to why it's called that. But
Yeah.
that is literally why it's called that because Tokyo was at zero and then, oh, great, Godzilla. So now it's even worse. So,
Wonderful.
like, great. This just doesn't ruin the day at all, right? So,
I did like how sneakily they snuck in a little love story.
oh, yes, it was very cute. They did put in a good love story in there. And I was like, I text Roxy last night, like, yeah, I know all about women just kind of sneaking into your house like that.
That part cracked me
Uh,
up. I was like, dang. Because she did. She
She
did
just
just kind of,
straight
she said,
up,
oh,
oh, and then walked into
oh, so
this
you're not
man's
going to let us
house
die out here. Okay.
and never fucking left this man's house.
And never,
Even after he said, okay,
he was
in the
like, will you
morning,
please leave? Will you
he
please
straight
leave? He
up
asked her
said,
3 times. Will you
like,
please leave?
I need you to leave. Okay, you can stay until breakfast and then you got to go. And then breakfast, she's still there. Okay, when are you going to go? And she just never fucking left. She just like stayed there. And kind of the love story here. Now, the other thing, so minus zero is also all about loss. Um, all the people that you see in this movie, they are all suffering loss because it's right after World War II. Japan is
Mhm.
in poverty. The lady that like was even blaming him for not killing himself in the war because
Oh,
our
yeah.
main character is a kamikaze. So if you know anything about kamikazes, for those of you who are too young, kamikazes were meant to die. They weren't meant to live. They got in a plane, they had one bomb and maybe a few rounds, And after that was expended, they were expected to ram their plane into an American plane to make it go down. That's how a kamikaze works. They were not
Mm.
expected to live or come back. So when she was there, like this neighbor of his, uh, she was blaming him, like, this happened because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, which was to die and, kill himself
Mhm.
in the war. Um, which is why he was feeling so bad about living
Mhm.
and everyone else dying. So he really did blame himself. But it's about the loss, the lady who we're introduced to, who becomes the aunt in the movie type of thing. She lost her children, her husband, blamed him because he didn't kill himself in the war. But here's my question. How did she live when everyone else died? Because she was like, even
Right.
he came back and asked, well, are my parents alive? He's like, nope, they died. Everyone died. It's like, how did you live then? What did you
Right. How
do?
did your kids die and you lived?
Yeah, exactly. Your kids died, your husband died, but you lived. So they didn't quite address that. But I'm sure it was easier for her to blame this guy than anything else. So he felt bad about that because he also froze. He feels responsible for the deaths of when Godzilla first appears on this little
Hmm.
mechanic island. Godzilla pops up and he froze and he couldn't, shoot Godzilla. And
Hmm.
so everyone ends up dying except for him and one other person. And then the other person lays the guilt trip on him with photos of
Oh,
families of all the
yeah.
soldiers that died there on the island. It was like, you always remember this. And like, so
Right.
this is treating this poor man like shit,
I know.
Like no one wants to die,
For real.
So the whole thing is that he's dealing with this. He has post-traumatic stress. This woman shows up, infiltrates his house. They end up falling in love, but he has a lot of issues to where he
Yeah.
never says, "Oh, why don't you marry me?" Because clearly he loves her. And then, well, the thing is, so she shows up with a baby. The baby
Right.
isn't even hers. And
No.
so the baby's growing up with him and starts calling him dad. And he's like, don't call me dad. And his friends get all mad at him for telling her that. And then,
Yeah.
but there's clearly this family love story bonding thing going on. And it was a good love story because, like, you think that she dies and she doesn't.
Oh
Even
my
I
God,
thought she
that
was
part got
dead.
me. I was like, ah!
I thought she was dead. I thought she was
I did
disintegrated.
too.
I
I
was
thought
like,
she was gone.
mm-hmm.
She was a goner.
Didn't happen. She ends surprised at the end as she ends up living. He gets to live because the mechanic who fixes his plane builds a injector seat for him instead of him just crashing into Godzilla and dying. So
Hmm.
it
Yeah, because
was
that's what he was gonna have to do. It was gonna he was gonna
yeah.
have to kamikaze either way.
Yeah, he was going to go in there. He was really hell bent on kind of renewing his himself by killing himself as he was supposed to as a kamikaze. So he figured the best way to
Hmm.
do is fly into Godzilla and do it. Um,
Hmm.
which would have been useless anyway because Godzilla regenerates. And
Yeah.
so it was great. It was really, really great. Good love story, good kind of family story. Really could not talk bad about this. I mean, honestly,
I really couldn't either.
yeah, if I would give it two thumbs up if we're doing that kind of a scale. I would definitely say watch it, get some popcorn,
Yeah, definitely a good watch.
definitely get some popcorn, go buy yourself a Godzilla plushie pillow, and just
Hmm.
watch Godzilla. I mean, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
order me a Godzilla marshmallow right now and and then just kind of chill out with my Godzilla marshmallow. Because
Yeah.
it really was good. I was like super surprised. Again, I was resistant to it because I've been burned by these other remakes,
Hmm.
and this one was just awesome.
So it was a really good one. It was very well done.
It was super well done, super well done.
Hmm.
I gotta say, great, great acting. Even if it was meant to be that campy kind of acting that you saw in the old ones,
Yeah, like
it
it was
was so
kind of.
Yeah.
It was like kind of campy, but not too bad.
Yeah, but it was such a great tribute to the old ones. I was like, how
Yeah.
can you complain? It was
No, you couldn't.
amazing, absolutely amazing.
I thought it was great.
Uh,
Brilliantly done.
it was, it really was. I think the only thing that they could have, like, if they wanted to like really go back and do homage stuff, I think the only other thing that they could have done is like made some type of Raymond Burr reference. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I know Roxy might not know. Raymond Burr, anything?
Mm-mm.
No, okay. So Raymond Burr, you will know Raymond Burr as an actor, but he's more famous for his TV show Perry Mason. He was the original Perry Mason.
Oh,
Now,
uh-huh.
Raymond Burr was in one of the original Godzillas. And then you see Raymond Burr again when they try to make this remake of Godzilla 1985, that movie.
Mm.
He pops back up in that because it's kind of a continuation of that first Raymond Burr story. So I think the only thing they could have done was made a Raymond Burr reference
Okay.
at some point. And they may have, I don't know, but it was just
I would have liked to have heard the original Godzilla like scream.
mm.
He did have a good roar, but I
Yeah,
would have liked to hear the original in
the
there.
original.
Like that would have been
I
awesome.
think what they did, like, because I was like, this scream, though, his roar was kind of unique, and I was like, that
Yeah.
sounds like what they did is like they kind of took the original and then mixed it with the.
Made it a little deeper.
Well, no, I want to say they mixed it with to me because when I'm there and I'm trying to listen to it audioly and close my eyes and be like, what? Where I know this sound. I want to say part of it is the original, and then what I want to say is they also may have sampled the Tyrannosaurus roar from Jurassic Park and
Mm.
mixed those together to come up with this. Because I was like, huh, that sounds awfully familiar. And the best I could take is like it was the original Godzilla roar, and then they mixed it with something. And I think they mixed it with the Tyrannosaurus roar in Jurassic Park
Mm.
to come up with this, which again, it was great. It was unique. I guess that would be kind of accurate. I don't know. But it sounded wonderful and I loved it. And just to let you know, I'm gonna give you a little more deeper spoilers here. So in the end, we see that Godzilla is regenerating after he's
Mhm.
fallen into the sea. So Godzilla's regenerating himself, it's not dead. Then the credits roll, and you have all the credits, and at the very end of the credits, you have silence and then Godzilla roar. So it's definitely telling you there's another one coming, which I will
I
be
hope
all.
so.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I will be all over that if that
Yeah,
actually
me
happens.
too. If
Like I
if I
will.
catch wind of a second one, I'm gonna be so excited.
Yeah, we will go do the expensive seat thing like we do for some movies, and we'll just go out on the Godzilla because that was so good. I gotta check it out. Like, I can only hope it would be Godzilla takes on Mothra. I love Mothra. So,
Ah, that would be good.
I was like, that would be great. This Godzilla all of a sudden, then Mothra comes out, and now they're gonna fuck up Tokyo. Because everything, like every movie is they just fuck up Tokyo. It's like, why rebuild Tokyo? Because
Poor
Godzilla's just gonna show
Tokyo.
up. Poor Tokyo. But it was great. Absolutely loved it. Um, and going back to some of the original Godzillas, again, beautiful, wonderful tribute to them. You know,
Hmm.
the original designs, the the original campy acting,
Yeah.
the original like, oh no, it's a Godzilla, it was so good. It was so good. It was like I was a little kid again watching Godzilla on the living room floor, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome."
Greatest thing
So
ever.
this has been literally like my favorite remake of Godzilla out of all the Godzillas. And that's me even going back to the Godzilla 1985. And I somewhat remember that one because that's been a minute. And then, of course, the Matthew Broderick one was like, why did you do this to Godzilla? And then,
What did you do?
like, why did you do that? And then you had, of course, the one with Mr. Walter Wright there, Walter White. Mr. Breaking Bad,
Hmm.
Mr. Benjamin Cranston, and I was like, please stop crying about your wife and let's just get back to Godzilla. I just really want to get back to Godzilla. And so, and then I know they did a second part to that one. I didn't even bother, to be very honest. I did not bother to watch the second one to that because I was so disappointed in the first one that I was like, no, I'm not going to give them my dollar. I'm just not, you know?
Yeah.
And then just
Not this time.
yeah, and so I've kind of stayed off of it until now. And when Roxy got me back on it, I was like, that was brilliant. That was absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant.
that was a good one. I was
Mhm.
really happy with this one.
Yes, this one was
Thoroughly entertained.
absolutely, and like can't wait for the next one because that would be great. So that one came out in 2023. It's 2024. I'm assuming Godzilla is probably making its round by 25 or 26.
Maybe.
What I'm hoping because that would be great if that popped back up again. Um, because that was just so good, so good. And the
It was
little
really good.
girl who they got to play the was so cute, even though
She was so
they were
cute.
dubbing her voice like because she clearly you're not speaking full sentences like that. That's such
Right.
a tiny little thing. But it was so cute. She did so well. And when she like cried on command, I was like,
Oh, yeah, she was
good
good. I
job.
was like,
Good.
oh.
I was like, poor baby. Yeah, that
Best actor in the whole movie.
right, totally. Right next to Godzilla. Second
Yep.
best actor right
Yep.
there. Oh my God. Because like Godzilla just was like, I'm just gonna fuck your world up. That's what's
Yeah.
happening here. And he did. He surely did.
Yeah, absolutely
Totally
did.
loved it. Oh my God, totally loved it. And when you see Godzilla at first, the first time, and it's pretty quick, like, it doesn't take long before you see Godzilla.
Oh no,
And
yeah, it's pretty quick, like just a few minutes in, and
yeah,
he's
just a
he's
few
there to
minutes and you
appearance.
see Godzilla and you already have your first action scene. But then you're thinking, God, why is Godzilla so small looking? And then it's because you don't realize that he's growing. Because later on, when you see him the next time, he's massive. And then after that, he's even bigger. So it's
So
just
it's
so
like every
cool.
time he does that little explosion thing, he takes in that power and
Yeah, or
grows.
something. Like he's growing.
Yeah,
He's definitely a growing boy and just getting bigger and bigger.
eating
And
his
I was
Wheaties.
like, wow, this is just so incredible. So it's my new favorite Godzilla. That's all I can say. And hopefully, I don't know. Roxy, is this your new favorite Godzilla?
Yes, I love this one. This one was really great.
Tell me this. Did you ever
Can't
grow
say
up?
anything bad about it.
Can't. You just can't. Did you ever grow up watching Godzilla or not really?
I watched some when I was younger. Like I didn't watch it all the time, but I did watch some stuff with my cousins.
Was Godzilla one of your favorites or not on your top 10?
Yeah, he's one of my
He's
favorites.
one of your favorites. Cool.
Yeah.
Uh, if you had to choose, who would be your favorite mega monster? Godzilla or King Kong?
I was like, dang, it's gonna be between these two. Damn it.
For me, it's
Um,
Godzilla hands down.
I'd have to say Godzilla because he fights more.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I know they did
I
a
do like King Kong, but Godzilla, like he destroys all kinds of stuff, and I love it.
yes, I love Godzilla. He's my favorite more than King Kong. Um, I know they did a Godzilla King Kong movie not that long ago.
They did. I
I
was just
didn't
thinking
see
about
it. I
that.
didn't see it.
I don't think I saw that either.
Because like I said, I had kind of given up on the whole Godzilla thing after those things. So the Godzilla
Yeah.
versus King Kong, I didn't see it. But to be honest, I didn't hear anything good or bad about it. It was like it
Mm,
happened and then that was it. And I was like, oh,
right.
okay. But then Godzilla Minus One, a lot of people raved about it. I heard more about that than anything else. But for me, it's always been Godzilla. Like growing up, it's always been Godzilla was my favorite.
Yeah.
There's something about him, even in that rubber suit, that was just incredible. And just destroying all the
Yeah.
toy little cars, when he's fighting other
I like
animals.
the way he flail his arms and it.
Yeah, like and then you can clearly see the wire moving his tail and
Yeah,
stuff. You gotta love it. You gotta
love it. I
be
freaking
happy.
love it.
I love Godzilla. So there's
Hmm.
something really magical about that. And something that wasn't scary about it either, like watching the original Godzillas were not, I think that's kind of the thing. It wasn't scary, it was kind of inviting because,
Right.
you see it and Godzilla looks more friendlier than like a monster. And now the
Not
later
in this
Gods
one.
no, definitely not.
Not in
Uh
this one.
but like the newer Godzillas, of course, they're going for that scarier feel. And then you have this whole like now you have it change it around where it's like prequel Godzilla. Godzilla Minus One, I would say, is a precursor to all the other Godzillas. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that, which way they're going to take the
Where they're gonna
storyline.
take it.
Because there are certain things you just cannot do. Like, you can't have a Godzilla without a Mothra. Mothra is such a classic. You have to kind
Hmm.
of integrate that story somehow, or Rodan, or Mega Godzilla. Maybe not so much Mega Godzilla, but all the others definitely. Um, but you have that, and you're gonna have to interweave that somehow, or just keep on with Godzilla attacking Tokyo because that is what he's famous for. But I am very excited about it. I can't wait for the next one to see what happens. But yeah, growing up, I remember it was Channel 20 back then. It was called 20 Vision. And on
20 minutes.
Sundays, after cartoons were over, they would do Kung Fu theater and then go into like Godzilla movies. And that was pretty much it for me.
That sounds fun and really cute and entertaining.
It was.
So it'd be like Godzilla and like Bruce Lee movies.
Mhm. It was an amazing Sunday to have that going on. It really, really was. It really was. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, that was kind of my thing back then. Um, I know you said that you watched it with your cousins. Was it like on regular TV or VHS back on the day?
It was on regular TV, but I don't remember what channel.
It was probably Channel 20. They did that back.
Maybe it may have been.
Hmm.
It was on some local cable channels. We didn't have cable, so it was like some local channal.
Hmm. More
Because I
likely,
don't remember what it was.
more likely Channel 20 and all that good stuff.
Probably. But
But
yeah.
let's say you have a fond Godzilla memory you'd like to share with us here on the VCR show, or maybe you have a different, monster that's your favorite. Maybe Kong is your
Yeah.
Let us know. Talk to us. Tell us here at the VCR Show. Our email is thevcrshow@gmail.com. You can hit us up on our social medias at the VCR Show. And you can always check out our website, thevcrshow.com, along with our YouTube channel, The VCR Show, and watch us there as well. Not just on Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube too. And you can always ask Roxy if she wants to come over and watch a Godzilla movie with you at her social medias, which are.
Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, and Instagram at PopRox428, and on TikTok at ThePoprox. And Poprox is spelled Poproxx.
And until next time, I'm Vada.
And I'm Roxy, I believe.
You think, I know.
I think so.
And you've been listening to VCR.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at the VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show's song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.